Well, my friends, the time has finally come as the latest revision of Google's most affordable earbuds is officially here with the Pixel Buds 2a. And it has been a super long time coming since the first gen was released almost 4 years ago, way back in June of 2021. So needless to say, we are in a desperate need of a refresh, which thankfully we did get with this year's Pixel Buds 2a. These things are typically known for getting the basics right, providing an incredible value, and bringing down the most premium features to a more affordable price point, which I definitely think Google did do here with some compromises, especially in order to reach that $130 price point. Thankfully for you guys, we've been using the Pixel Buds 2a behind the scenes for about a week or two now, and there is a lot to cover. So real quick, let me give you our impressions on the brand new Pixel Buds 2a, and of course, if you want to stay up to date with the latest Google reviews, news, and insights, please make sure you subscribe to the 9 to 5 Google YouTube channel because we have a lot more content like this coming your way. All right, first things first, let's start off with the design and general ergonomics. The case, of course, is certainly the first thing you're going to notice, as it does serve as the official avenue to store, charge, and protect the earbuds when not in use. This year, the Pixel Buds 2a still keep that same signature, soft, rounded, pebble-like look that we've seen for years now, and I still absolutely love this thing. It's compact, it's perfectly pocketable, it's smooth with no sharp edges, lightweight, so it's not a real burden to carry around in the slightest, and in general is actually super comfortable to carry day to day. Alongside that, we get a matte finish that should do a relatively good job at hiding fingerprints or smudges, and as a whole, I think what we have is a thoughtfully crafted aspect of the design that is a pleasure to interact with. So good on Google for the case. And lastly, another cool detail about the case design is with repairability. For the first time ever in a Pixel Buds device, the 2a specifically features a replaceable battery, which should be huge for long-term usability. Moving on, we can talk about the actual buds themselves, and honestly, they're very similar to my thoughts about the case, being small, light, and thoughtfully designed. They are significantly smaller than the first gen A series, which is definitely a huge improvement. Smaller buds in general should allow for improved long-term comfort, should be a bit less noticeable when wearing them in public, and are less likely to interfere with other objects like hats, beanies, or glasses, so I'll always take the smaller earpieces any day. And in fact, I would go the extra step to officially say these are definitely more comfortable than the last gen buds. The original A series had these large tips that I and many others found uncomfortable over long periods, while the new Buds 2a, inspired directly by the design of the Buds Pro 2, feel immediately comfortable right out of the box without sacrificing stability. Google says they use data from over 45 million ear scans to engineer these for all-day comfort, and hey, I believe it. Plus, with 4 different ear tip sizes in the box and an IP54 sweat and water resistance rating, they are clearly built for everything from a long workday in the office, weight training in the gym, or a long distance run in the rain. But that does bring me to another area where, unfortunately, I think these buds could have used some work, and that is with the touch controls, where I do feel we did hit our first major compromise. For the second generation in a row, Google has decided to keep volume controls in particular exclusive to the more expensive Pro model. On the Buds 2a, you can tap to play, pause, and skip songs, or press and hold to toggle active noise cancellation or activate Gemini, but that's really about it. If you do want to change your volume, you'll have to pull out your phone or use voice commands, which is really weird, might I add. For the same price, a few dollars more, or even a few dollars less, you can get other alternatives like the OnePlus Buds 3, Nothing Ear 3, or Galaxy Buds that do support volume controls right from the earbuds themselves. Hell, even Apple's $20 USB-C wired earbuds allow volume control without pulling out your phone, so needless to say, that was definitely an upgrade that should have been here, no questions asked, in the year 2025. Even putting that aside though, the touch controls themselves as a whole have been somewhat unreliable. In our first week, we had too many instances where a single tap to pause my music did absolutely nothing, as if it didn't even detect the single tap gesture in the first place. Other times it would register as a long press, turning active noise cancellation on or off by mistake, plus some other issues. It wasn't all bad, but it was frustrating enough that I really started to miss the stem-based designs on other earbuds, which tend to be far more accurate in that regard. Moving on to the software, this is where things get really good, especially if you're a Pixel user. The pairing process, after a couple initial hiccups with Fast Pair, have been overall pretty solid. The best part is that the entire settings menu is baked right into Android on Pixel phones. There's no extra app that you need to download. It's all just there, beautifully designed with Material You. Checking battery levels is super easy, and the settings are all super simple to change, which I love. It also supports multi-point for connecting to multiple devices at once, though you will have to turn that on yourself in the settings, and the built-in Gemini support is here as well, offering the same hands-free help you get on the Pixel Buds Pro 2. Now for battery life, I will say it is a bit of a mixed bag. The buds themselves do last quite a while, which is great, as Google has rated them for 7 hours of listening with active noise cancellation on, and in my testing, I haven't managed to kill this in a single session yet. The charging case, however, is a little bit different. Because it's so small and because it's so pocketable, the battery inside also is quite a bit smaller, so I find myself needing to charge the case every other day, which is way more frequently than I do on any other earbuds I own. And you do need to decide if that trade-off is worth it. You either get a wonderfully small case, which is great for portability, but at the expense of total battery life, which might not be a huge deal for you if you see yourself charging this case every other day anyway. Last but not least, let's talk about how they actually sound. The Pixel Buds 2a are powered by Google's Tensor A1 audio chip and feature custom-designed 11mm speaker drivers. The result is sound that I would describe as good, but not super great. It's totally fine for a pair of $130 earbuds, but there were a couple issues I picked up. By default, I found voices on podcasts could sound a little muddy, but you can mitigate that with the equalizer feature in the settings, where I preferred the balanced EQ for music and vocal boost for podcasts, which did help quite a bit. The active noise cancellation feature is a similar story, good but not super great. It does a decent job of blocking out low, constant noises like an air conditioner or the hum of a fan. However, sharper sounds like the clicking of my keyboard as I was typing this very review or the TV in the background still do happen to come through. It's not on par with the best active noise cancellation you can buy, but for this price point, I am happy to see it here. Lastly, the transparency mode is probably the weakest link in the audio chain. You can hear the world around you, but it never sounds natural. You are certainly always aware that you are hearing the world through a microphone, and it also has a habit of amplifying background noises, making it hard to hold a conversation if there's a fan or other noise in the room. That said, the microphones for calls are perfectly usable though, and they do a great job of blocking out background noises so the person on the other end can hear you clearly. So with that said, where does that leave us with the Pixel Buds 2a? Long story short, the Buds 2a are a classic A-series product through and through. They successfully brought some of the headline premium features like Gemini Live, the Tensor A1 chip, and the improved active noise cancellation down to a more affordable $130 price point. The design itself is a massive step up in comfort, the sound quality is solid for the price, and the software experience, especially paired with the Pixel phone, is really hard to beat. While, on the other hand, the compromises are also really hard to ignore. The unreliable touch controls and the complete lack of onboard volume adjustments are genuinely frustrating down to its core. The case's battery life is a direct trade-off for its convenient size, and the transparency mode is just okay at best. So ultimately, my final thoughts are this. If you're a Pixel user looking for a comfortable pair of earbuds with decent sound and noise cancellation, and you can live with the control quirks, the Pixel Buds 2a are a fantastic value at $130 US. But if precise touch controls and day-to-day battery are at the top of your list for things that are important to you, you definitely might need to keep looking here. But those are just my thoughts after a few weeks of use, and I need to bring it over to you guys now. What do you think of the brand new Pixel Buds 2A. Are those compromises worth it for the price in your opinion? Are you considering picking up a pair or upgrading from an older pair? Drop your comments and all your thoughts down in the comment section below, as I'm always super curious to hear what the Android community is thinking. Until next time, this has been Jordan Floyd with 9to5 Google. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.